important to you. Welcome. This is still Prime Morning. My name is Dua Akomia, and it's Let's Talk Relationship time. I did give away exactly what we'll be talking on, but if you just joined us, thank you for joining in. We are going to talk on managing different cultural backgrounds. This has been a huge issue in so many homes, so many families. Even people who end up being married to people with different cultural backgrounds still have challenges. Are you one? Share with us on all our social media platforms. Our WhatsApp number is very active. We would love to read your comments in relation to this on our Facebook page as well. So if you're on Facebook watching us, please get into the comment section. Let us know what you think about being married to somebody that you have different cultural backgrounds with, or just a regular relationship. What is your take on this? My guests are seated for this conversation, and I have, ladies first, to my extreme left, Selassie Doko. She's no stranger to her set. She's a licensed counselor, life strategist, CEO, MedFocus International, and founder 360 Institute. My goodness, all of these accolades for you. I'm sure there's more to what we have. There's more, right? Yes, this is just a summary of what you do. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
You
look beautiful this morning.
Thank you very much. So do you, Selassie. You look awesome. I love the beads.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But I hope your week has been awesome so far.
It's been great. It's been a bit stressful, but it's been great.
Right. Okay. And let me introduce the only gentleman that we are currently sandwiching. He's also no stranger to Prime Morning, or to Let's Talk Relationship right here on Prime Morning. Prophet Moses Benny San. He is from, oh, sorry about that, Family Altar Ministry. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Good to see you again. always excited to see you.
Yes.
How's your wife doing?
She's doing extremely well. She'll be joining us online.
Okay.
Yes, so she said I should tell you that you look like the rising sun. You brighten the morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. But I hope everything is fine.
Absolutely.
Great. We thank God. We thank God. Now, managing different cultural backgrounds in marriages. First of all, if you don't mind me asking the backgrounds or the cultural backgrounds of your partners, are you all from the same place? Selassie.
Interestingly, my husband always says that. So today, which culture are you exhibiting? Because I am 25% Kwewu, 25% Ewe.
What?
25% Fanti, and 25% Adangbi. So you can, yep. And so sometimes he would say, so today, which one would
you be exhibiting?
Which one will I be exhibiting? And, and he is 100% away. So there's a bit of infusion somewhere.
Okay.
But there's a lot of different things that go into making a relationship what it's supposed to be, besides the fact that we come from different places and how we need to actually understand each other, understand the culture, even the upbringing. Even with the 25.
The 25.
The 25, even with the upbringing.
Yes.
Is, just so different.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine if you don't go into this with understanding and insight, what would happen. So I think that we'll have a lovely chat as to the nitty-gritties of, having all these mixed cultures within a relationship.
That's true. Prophet Moses, how about you?
Yes, my wife is 50 Krobo, 50 Ewe. I am 100% Ewe. 100% Ewe.
Okay.
So we are able to manage ourselves.
Okay. Now the question here is, individual, even before you enter marriage, the upbringing. Selassie, I want to come to you first. You've got 25% of 4 different tribes, 4 different ones. How does that affect your upbringing? Let's start with that first.
So when it comes to the upbringing, my father or my parents were, they brought us up as individuals. They brought us up. My father would always say that, oh, you're West African. Because even with the 25, if you go deep down, part of my grandmother's side comes from Abeokuta. And my father, part of his side comes from Togo. So it's
a mix.
It's a mix. So he would say, oh, you're West African. And he never really brought us up to say, you are this or you are that. So one of the things that really was a foundation was our Christian principles. And that was what we were actually raised on. So the matter of being this or that was not really, I'm not, let me not say this. I don't speak Ewe.
Oh.
But I understand a
Our
bit.
viewers have heard you regardless.
I'm proud to be a Ghanaian.
Okay.
I'm proud to be, to be what God has made me.
Yes.
And so there wasn't that differentiation as to say you are this or you are that. We were brought up as Christians. Okay. And that actually gives you an open mind to be able to embrace everybody else. Because I see every other person as a human being first.
Yeah.
And I don't really see culture. But then there are certain things within culture that, we'll have to discuss because other people might face those differences. And then we need to actually take, some key points. If you're actually going into a relationship where the other person is more concerned about where they come from, what they eat, the etiquette of that culture, the social norms and all of that. Yes.
Okay. Prophet Moses, being 100% Ewe, your wife is 50-50, 50 Krobo and 50 Ewe.
Yes.
With your background, for instance, was there any time or growing up were you taught that, by force, you have to marry an Ewe?
Yes, in fact, that is the usual.
Yes.
Almost all my siblings married an Ewe. So I virtually was the only person who really married.
You went off a little
I went off
bit.
a little. Yes, twisted it small.
Yeah, okay.
Because I believe that when you study the Bible, Abraham, when he wanted to marry for his son Isaac, he sent his servant to his own people because he didn't want to cross cultural marriage for his son.
Yeah.
But Moses in the Bible married a cross-cultural wife.
Yes.
And I'm Moses, so I had to fulfill my prophetic...
Okay, I'm not catching it.
I had to fulfill my prophetic destiny.
Right.
So Moses virtually married to an Ethiopian woman.
Yes.
And his sister Miriam was not happy with that.
Of it.
Yes, and it turned into argument and etc. And then they started to question his ministerial legitimacy. And then they said, is he the only one who hears from God? But then God comes and defends Moses and says that Moses is my servant. He will do what I want him to do. Oftentimes, I believe that when it comes to marriage, it is God's idea. It's not man's idea. It was not Adam that asked God for a wife. God brought a wife to Adam. When Adam woke up, he said, yes, I love what you've brought to me. And so if God has to decide, therefore, for me, the most important thing is the will of God first before all other things.
Okay.
Once the will of God is in place, we'll find a way to manage all the other aspects.
Okay.
Yeah, but it plays out once in a while. I can say that when we were getting ready to marry, you have to do the 21 days mandatory with the Registrar General.
Yeah.
You register the marriage. Okay, and then they give it a certificate. You go for the signing, they give it a certificate.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the certificate, sometimes you sign the certificate before the wedding day. The reason being that the certificate has to be presented on the wedding day to the woman, to the bride.
Yeah.
So when we went to the Registrar General, they said, we should come and sign on a Thursday. We should come and sign it on Thursday. My father-in-law to be, who is 100% Krobo, he says traditionally for them it's not done like that. You have to do the traditional marriage first, because it's the traditional marriage that gives credence to the legal marriage. So you can't have the legal before the traditional, because the traditional was going to be on Saturday morning. So he said it. My wife-to-be was like, Dad, what's going on? The dad said, yes. In case you sign the document on Thursday and the man runs away with the certificate. we can't find him. And then legally you are married, but traditionally you are not married. How will he be able to explain to his
family?
Yeah, the family. So he insisted. And so I have to call him and say, listen, you have to make compromises, and I'm ready to make those compromises. So I compromised and then agreed that on the Saturday, we ain't signing the certificate. On Monday, we go and sign the certificate. So we did the traditional on Saturday morning, had the wedding in the afternoon, signed the certificate on Monday.
Beautiful. And very simple. Now, Selassie, before you get married, okay, I know that definitely there would be a tall list of things that you need to check out. Okay, you need to look out for this, you need to look out for that. When you have the list of things that you'll be looking out for in your partner, where should you place cultural background? How important should it be?
So, it's said that love have no boundaries, but there's a lot of work to be done in there. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And in choosing a life partner, it's more of where your heart leads you. Now, after you've actually gotten to that point where your heart has led you to a particular place, now you're going to be looking out for, oh my goodness, is this person? Because first of all, you'll be attracted to this person in one way or the other when you meet the person. Yeah. At that moment, you're not really thinking about, oh, is he, does he like Bankun or does he like Kokonte? Can I make Kokonte or I can't make Bankun? You're not really thinking about all of that. But then that is why it's important that whilst you date somebody, you try them. The more reason for dating is to be able to understand, to know the person, to understand each other, to know who you're getting into, and then, understand the cultural differences, understand the belief system, understand the social norms of the individual that you are getting hitched to, so to say. You have to understand all of these things. So I think that we will need to understand the dating process, why we even date, and not make it what it looks like today. Oh, let's go out, let's go and sit here. When you go out and go and sit here and having those drinks and whatever, what are you looking out for?
What are the questions you're asking?
Exactly. What are the questions what are the things you're crossing out? That is what dating is all about. Right. But unfortunately, now we find ourselves that before it becomes like an infatuation, and it's all jolly, and we forget to ask the important questions. Okay. So you need to find out what are the belief systems of this individual. Is this something that you can compromise? Is it compatible to your belief system? You want to find out, where does this person come from? What to do? Even the family dynamics. Okay, is the person the firstborn? Is the person the lastborn? All of these things come into play into the the compatibility of the marriage. If the person is a firstborn and probably is a breadwinner, how does that play out in your relationship? If in that culture they believe that the man is the head of the family, and so you're going to be married to somebody who is going to be the head of the family for everybody. Are you ready for
family?
Are you ready for that? All of these things are things that we need to, and that is where the work is. That is where we need to get insight. And so in dating, in trying to find a partner, yes, the love that has no boundaries must be established. There are some fundamental things that you need to establish first. First, the commitment level, the acceptance level. You need to know, the trust issues. You need to know the respect. Then from there, you would want to also go beyond that and find out this individual, what are the cultural differences between us? What does he believe? What does he understand by this? What are the family dynamics that we are going to face if we have to take the step further. So these are some of the things that you need to actually check off to be able to say that, oh, okay, I'm here. And even to the point where when you even accept that there's a lot of work to be done on that side. And so in not doing all of this, you can also seek for help.
Okay.
Trying to get those things checked off. So you sit well before you, because it's a lifelong relationship that you're going into, so that you don't get stuck in the middle of the way and say, I didn't know this would happen. You have to understand what you're going into.
So on the whole, in general, would you say that the way people go like, oh, I've met this guy, I feel butterflies literally in my stomach anytime I see him, I'm around him and everything. He's an Ewe and I'm Ashanti. And so, you know, Ewes and Ashantis is like, yeah, we clash and then all that. So would you say with everything that you said right now that you don't need to necessarily write the person off just because the person is an Ewe? Have you asked all these very important questions that you post?
So, so of course, as you said, Ewes and but you know, I realize that Ewes and Ashantis have some of the great marriages as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I've met some very great couples that are Ewes, and so you see, that tells you that you cannot actually cast it in stone,
right?
And say that, oh, because I'm from this tribe, and because you are from this tribe, it won't work. It also depends on what you're bringing together. What are the beliefs? What are the agreements that you're making? Okay, in my home, we eat fufu every Sunday. But on your partner's home, on Sunday, they rest.
Yes.
Okay, so they do light eating and they rest.
Yeah.
So if your partner is expecting his fufu Sunday afternoon after church, the lady says that it's resting time for me. You see where the conflicts can come in. So you can actually come to a compromise. If those are the things that are important to you, and if those are the things that you can compromise on, then you say that, okay, what do we do? Okay, on one Sunday, we will rest. On another Sunday, we'll do this. Or we'll do the fufu before the resting. You know, have to come to some kind of compromise. And so you don't rule it out entirely. You will have to come to some compromise. But there are certain issues that, like, let's say, language barrier. You might have somebody, the language barrier, communication, barriers. The other person does not speak your language.
Yeah.
But then you have family members coming into the home, and all they're doing is speaking, and this person feels alienated from the conversation and all of that.
Sorry to cut you, but I actually have an external auntie who one time said that, why should you get married to somebody that you do not speak the same language with?
Yeah, but but then again, you can agree on a common language.
Like you be speaking English.
If that works for you, because maybe you love this person so much, he's your moon and your sun and everything, and you can't let this, because of language barrier, you might have to come to some kind of agreement, some kind of compromise, and say, okay, do I learn your language? Do you learn my language?
Yes.
Do we come to a compromise where we have a common language that we all speak? If we have family visiting, how does that play out as well? Okay. These are the challenges that go with cross-cultural marriages. Okay, these are some of the challenges that will go. So when family visits, what happens? Okay, we need to put out some lay down rules.
Yeah.
Okay. For so that we create those boundaries for our relationship as well. Okay. So that it can thrive. Because it is possible. It can work out.
It can work out. Brother Moses.
Yes, you see, sometimes is if there are no boundaries, there can be challenges. For instance, I always want to come from a biblical perspective. When Samson was going to marry, the father and the family says no, because they said God had told them they should not marry from among the Philistines. But then the Bible said they didn't know it was the will of God. I always believe that two marriages are not the same. Every marriage is unique by itself. So in that situation, they didn't want something to cross cultural marry. So they wanted to maintain the status quo, not knowing that that was God's intention, plan for something. In fact, in just recent years, that it has become a little easier to find a lot of cross-cultural marriages. It used to be illegal in certain societies, and in some societies also, it was heavily frowned upon. And likewise Africa, because the African mind sees cross-cultural marriage as dilution of the unique culture that we have. Now you are bringing in a different culture. Yeah. We are going to give birth to children. Yeah. We would not know where they belong to. Are they going to be Christians or are they going to be Muslims?
That's another great
It becomes so it comes with a lot of things. Yeah. We must also admit that cross-cultural marriage brings a little more challenges. It is, according to the statistics, they said most marriages that end up equals to about 31%, but when it comes to cross-cultural marriage, about 41%. So there is this 10% extra chances of divorce or separation once it is cross-cultural. That means that there's a little more work to be done. Yeah. And so if you're going into it, you must understand. BBC did a documentary on a Nigerian marrying an Indian. You know, with the Indians, it's not the man that pays the bride price. Yes, it's the woman that pays the bride price. Yeah. So if you're a Ghanaian woman, you want to marry an Indian, they tell you you have to pay the bride price. Your parents will wonder because they've raised you with the mind that they need some interest and a contagisika and all those things. Is in-laws money. In-law, in fact, in our traditional establishment, in-law has things you have to buy for them. Then you are going into a different culture, and they are saying that now you have to buy for the in-law. It beats the mind. Okay, so because of that, there has to be a point of compromises because it's basically two different cultures that are coming together. The word belle in India means a beautiful girl, but the word belle in Nigeria means stomach. So if you are not extra careful in a cross
and fancy it's actually
that's right.
Exactly. Totally different.
Yeah, totally different. So you also have to be ready to learn and understand the other culture. And then my sister says something, Sarisa says something. One of the beautiful marriages that I have seen is that between our late ex-president Rawlings and the wife. Rawlings is 100% away. The wife is 100% an Ashanti. But their love was so beautiful. And at a point, they lived in the same house, sleep in the same room. He is the founder of NDC. She is also the founder of a new political party. And you know, this comes with a lot of emotions when it comes to partisanship in Ghana. So I wonder how the home
was, how their marriage was. How did they sustain the marriage?
And that's the beauty. And that's the beauty of cross-cultural relationship. It has a bit of enrichment also, where you bring different cultures, different ideologies, different social norms, blend it together, and it helps with personal growth. Okay, so where you understand the other person, where they are coming from, there's mutual respect for the other culture, and you learn. You're able to have diversity in your home. There are different things. For me, I mean, in my home growing up, for instance, we had. My father could speak Hausa and other. I mean, he speaks more than how many languages. So it was not it was just a beautiful, environment. And so when I go anywhere, I'm able to associate and be able to find myself in the midst of, because I don't see those barriers. And that's how I was brought up. I don't see those barriers. But for another person, it would be an issue. But then that tells you how rich that besides the difficulties that would come with it, it also enriches an individual. Okay. If the proper thing is done. When the proper eye-openness, the proper open-mindedness and all of that is done, it can actually enrich a society.
Our time is up. Unfortunately, our time is up, unfortunately, but we'll continue this conversation. We definitely have to continue because there are too many intricacies when it comes to this topic. And so we will continue, viewers. But before you go, final submissions, Prophet Moses, kindly give your final one.
When you are making a decision to marry, you always have to determine what you are looking for. If successful marriage is what you are looking for, then you have to be ready to make all the sacrifices to make it work.
Okay.
You can call me on 0244 361 446.
Okay.
And then if a successful marriage is what you're looking for, if actually trying to blend all that you know from your background and another person's background, you need to seek help.
Right.
You need to seek professional help. There are counselors who can actually help you be able to identify your own emotions, your own understanding of issues, and then you can blend it together. So I would say that seek help when necessary. Seek help when you really are at that point of making that critical decision of your life, because your marriage can make or unmake you.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Viewers, this is where we end the Let's Talk Relationship, but I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you've learned so much. I would say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with, being multilingual or bilingual, going outside of your culture to learn a different language. It would be nice. So let's try that. Anyway, so my name is Asiedua Akumia. My guests for Let's Talk Relationship have been Selassie Doku. Let me give the accolades again. Licensed counselor, life strategist, CEO, MedFocus International, and founder, 360 Institute. And then Prophet Moses Benisan, who is from Family Altar Ministry. Thank you so much for your time this morning once again. And viewers, before I go, a huge thank you to Crystal Beauty Spa for my beautiful hair. Crystal, your uncle is here. Prophet Moses. Prophet Moses is here. So thank you so much for my beautiful hair. Viewers, this is where we end Let's Talk Relationship. Like I said earlier, my name is Asiedua Akumia, the Golden Girl. You have entertainment coming your way, so do stay.